Well, hello there. It's Beards and Bangers, and today you find me in front of an old wall. No, only joking. It's just where I'm filming today is in the middle of the Buckinghamshire countryside. What better place to film a nice classic car? Because today we're looking at a British icon, a car that's famous all over the world. Very long production run, absolutely incredible. This car revolutionised car production all over the world. So let's have a look at a 1971 Morris Mini Clubman.
Welcome to Beards and Bangers.
So the Mini was developed in the late 1950s by a creative genius, Sir Alec Isigonis. And they were looking for a really small revolutionary car, and they came up with two. It was the same car, but at the time, successor to the BL was called the British Motor Corporation, BMC, and they were looking for a small revolutionary car. And Isigonis designed something you could get 5 adults in, that was front engined, front wheel drive, but was ultra compact and made use of absolutely every ounce of space. So the Morris Mini Minor and the Austin 7, as the Minis were originally called, debuted in 1959, and the original Mini, 521 AOK, I think from memory is the registration number, is still available. You can still view that at the British Motor Museum in Gaydon, which, if you've watched some previous videos of mine, I've been to 2 or 3 times in the last 12 months. But the Mini became an instant hit, and in the early 60s, they originally the Mini had an 850cc engine, so ultra small, ultra slow. But they started developing the A-series engine, and we'll have a look under the bonnet in a moment at this particular car. And we'll talk about this particular car as well, because it's not the typical Mini, as you can see from the front here. But they started putting bigger engines in. They had the 970, they had the 1071, and then the 1275. And John Cooper got hold of Minis and started tuning them and making absolutely world-beating rally cars. And they did win the Monte Carlo Rally, I think, in 1966. So the Mini is an iconic car. It was built through to 2000, so it was built right up until BMW sold Rover Group off to the Phoenix Consortium, and then of course BMW took the Mini brand and started building what we now know as the R50, the modern Mini. But we're all about the old Mini today, and this is a 1971 Mini Clubman estate, so it's a little bit different. So it's a Morris as well, so it's not an Austin, it's a Morris. Let's have a little look round it. So we'll start with the engine. Normally I start with the exterior, but I want to really look at the beating heart of this car. So I'm sure many of my more seasoned viewers will know what's under this bonnet and will not need me to explain what's here. But for anyone that's never seen inside the engine bay of a Mini, it's an absolute, it's a marvel. You've got everything up here. So the battery's in the boot on these, and we'll have a look at that in a sec. But what Isigonis did, and this was revolutionary, and of course now we take it for granted, was to mount the engine transversely and have it driving the front wheels. On this particular one, the gearbox is in the sump, so on Minis the gearbox is actually in the sump, so it's underneath the engine, and we can see the bell housing, so the flywheel's sort of down here. But yeah, this at the time, of course, in the late 1950s, most cars were front engined, rear wheel drive, so prop shaft, differentials, all that kind of stuff. So what Isigonis did, and I know the French had done this already with some of the Citroens, but what Isigonis did was to revolutionise things, and we pretty much stuck with this format, other than your BMWs, Mercedes, specialist sports cars, which are still rear wheel drive to this day. Most vehicles now are front engine, front wheel drive. So here we got our A-series engine. This is a 998, so it's a 1 litre. We've of course got a Dizzy down here, coil, and then we've got this tiny little air cleaner, absolutely minute and delicate, and we've got our single 1 1/4 inch SU, so it's an SU2, HS2 SU carburettor, so just that little carburettor driving the engine. Our radiator, this is another key feature with Minis, is we've got the side mounted radiator, so the cool air is coming from the the near side wheel arch here. We've got our dynamo down here, so quite rudimentary. We can just about make out. So these Minis don't have springs. They either have the rubber cone, which I think was developed by a guy called Alex Moulton, and a shock absorber. So we've got rubber cones all round. Some of the Minis did have hydroelastic suspension, I think in the sort of getting more into the 70s, when cars like the Maxi and Allegro had the same setup, and of course the Austin 1100 and 1200. But yeah, it's just, but look how rudimentary it is. You've got your oil filters down here, your sump plugs right at the front, so you can so easily maintain and service these cars on your driveway. They really are brilliant for it. I love the very rudimentary screen wash bottle. That's really quite cool. But yeah, just look how simple, look how basic. We've got our ducting here, so this rudimentary pipe here feeds our fresh air to the cabin, and then there's a pull-out heater valve to get warm air. So really clever, revolutionary when it first came out. Obviously this one's a bit later, what, 12 years after the Mini debuted, and it's obviously a little bit different because it is a Clubman estate and it's a Morris. So we'll have a look round the rest of the car. So we'll start off with the front. Of course, the Clubman has a different face to the standard Mini. So we've got a sort of squared off end with the headlights. Still got the round headlights, but they're kind of recessed rather than standing proud of the body like they would in a traditional Mini. But yeah, the Clubman, people do love this shape. If you're a Clubman fan, you love this shape. And of course, the Clubman front also gave us the 1275 GT, so that was like the performance version of the Clubman. This is lovely. It's in white. I don't think it's Old English white. It's a bit too white for that. We've got these lovely panels down the side here, so it gives it the kind of woody vibe without actually being wood. I think that's just Formica on that trim there. But yeah, this being a Morris estate is quite a rare beast. This one hails from, I think, early 1971, so J registration was sort of late 1970 through till sort of middle of 1971. But yeah, Clubman estate, absolutely lovely looking thing. We've of course got our mirrors right here on the wings. And I have driven this car before. I actually drove it back from the Chiltern Hills Rally back at the end of May, and there's so much vibration on these mirrors you really can't use them, so you've got to drive properly. We've got our lovely little 10-inch wheels down here, and the owner of this car, he's really paid attention to detail, so we've even got British Leyland alloy valve caps as well. There's our little British Leyland logo, so of course that was what was going to become Austin Rover, and the Rover Group was born out of. So British Leyland, we mustn't forget our roots there. But yeah, this is a really nice example. Of course, being an estate, I don't know if the back doors are open. We shall soon find out. They are. We'll now have a look at the inside. If we look inside here, so the back seats are folded down. We've got lovely sliding windows on the sides, as you can see. But just look at this load space. This is not inconsiderable. Given this is a Mini, this is a small car. Okay, it's the estate version, but just look how all the space is used. Have a quick look under here, and that's actually locked down. But yeah, I think our battery and spare wheel will be under there. Pretty sure that's locked. Yeah, it is. We won't open it because it's not my car. Obviously, we've got the fuel tank down here as well. But yeah, it's just really impressive how much space there is in this car. How light and airy it is. It's quite a good view. Yeah, very impressed. Very impressed. We'll shut that up. We'll jump in and we'll have a little look. Of course, everything's manual. Nothing locks automatically. You have to do everything yourself. We've got this lovely door handle here. Push in there. Really nice. The owners actually had these floor mats made, so we've got the correct looking floor mats rather than something aftermarket from Halfords. If I just clamber in, we've got the diddiest pedals. You have to be so careful driving it, especially with bulky trainers on like this, that you're not hitting the brake and the accelerator at the same time. So you've got to be careful. Yeah, the tiniest little pedals. We've got our rudimentary heater here, so typical Mini. You know, we've got fresh air coming in, and then it's, you know, we've got a heater matrix behind here. That's our heater control valve, so if we want heat, we just pull this out. That's our screen wash down there, so it's a manual screen wash. We've got our wipers here that we have to turn on manually. Our choke, of course, because this is a carbureted car. We have got some speakers, but we haven't got a radio. So there's 2 speakers either side in the front cabin, but no stereo. But normally you sort of mount a stereo kind of under here. Some people do, of course, put the full dash in these extra dials. Your Mini, your choice. Very rudimentary. Of course, the early Minis had a central speedometer right here, which of course BMW have you know, nodded to that with the modern Minis, with that central speedo. And then of course we've got our speedo here, and we've got fuel and temperature, so no rev counter, just a very small binnacle, tiny little binnacle with just 2 dials in. Yeah, so it's really basic but fun, but so, you know, so great. Very small rear view mirror. That's my GoPro mount, so we don't need to look at that. We've got a vinyl headlining, we've got a working interior light as well, which is nice, and we've got vinyl seats, so no head restraints. We've got non-inertia seat belts, so it's a real period car. We can look at the door cards. We've got this kind of black vinyl covering. We've got a very rudimentary lock there for the door. We've got our pull handle to close the door, of course manually operated windows, and we've got our door release there. Air vents are here and here, and you can have heat coming down into the footwell. It just literally blows out of that. So it's really rudimentary, but it's lovely. And just look, if I just shut the door up and just get rid of my GoPro mount for a second, so we get a proper view. Oh, making an absolute hash of this. There we are. It's just such a light, airy car to be sat in. You are quite low to the ground. With any Mini you're low to the ground, but actually getting in this I find easier than getting into my MGTF. Nice shelf here as well, by the way, mustn't forget shelves, so important. But yeah, just really light, really airy, really lovely. I do miss having, I've had 3 classic Minis, and I do miss not having one. This one's not for sale though, so it's the owner's, one of the owner's babies, so he's not going to be parting with it, I'm sure. So we've had a look at the outside, we've had a look at the inside. We need to take it for a drive. Right, here we are. So it's obviously the car's warm, so we don't need to worry about the choke, but we'll just spring straight into life. Really nice little engine note. I'm on a private estate, so I'm not going to bother with a seat belt. I'm going to go over a bumpy surface to start off with to see what it's like. So I'm not going to go too quickly. So if you've got to remember that you're driving a car with rubber cones as the primary suspension, but how effective are they? I mean, I'm on a really uneven road surface. You can probably hear the road kind of noise as I go along, but it's not uncomfortable, and that's the remarkable thing with the Mini setup, and that's why they did so well in rallies, is that suspension means they handle really well on whatever road surface you're on. Slightly smoother road now, so we can pull away. Hopefully find a roundabout in a moment. So we'll go back into second. Do you hear that? That lovely I think I said in a recent video, you've got that lovely noise from a K series when it whines in certain gears. But the A series brakes quite spongy. Obviously they're non-servo assisted, but it does stop well. Oh, trouble wearing bulky trainers to drive a car like this. You hear that whine? Distinctive A series with the gearbox in sump noise. It's lovely. For me, it's very evocative. We're now at 30 miles an hour. Yeah, it's noisy compared to a more modern car. We'll take a left here. No, we won't. We won't do that. Let's just check that. Speed bump coming up. That's a good test. Oh. Just avoid that bit of plasterboard that's on the road. But this is great. Oh, Mr. Gear. It's my trainers. It's not nothing to do with the car. It's my clumsy feet. Oh, bit of a bumpy there, but it wasn't so bad. Didn't feel uncomfortable. I think I should have turned down there. Never mind. We shall spin round and we shall start again. This is a good spinning round in one of these. Even the Estate, which is a little bit longer, the turning circle is so good. Real tight turning circle. Watch out for this speed bump in a minute, and then we can maybe try and open, I don't know if it's a him or a her, this car, but maybe Adrian, the owner of this car, isn't as soppy as me. Have a little bit of fresh air. There's that speed bump again. There we go. Open the car up a little bit. That's lovely. That's really nice. Yeah, it just sings along. I'm just doing 40. I'm not going to go above 40. Yeah, that's just cruising along really nicely. I'm enjoying this. We'll get you on beard cam in a sec so you can see what it looks like through the front windscreen. Lovely, isn't it? That's really good. Yeah, I mean, people do still use cars like this daily, and this being an estate or a tourer is even more practical. But yeah, I can see why this car is cosseted inside. I'm going to do a little bit of ventilation, just getting a bit warm in here. Just put the fan on as well. So we've got a bit steamed up. Obviously got very excited. Turn that off. So 1-speed fan. It's either off or it's on. Bit like some of my R3 Rover 25s and 200s. But yeah, it's nice. You can just pot around in this all day. no problem at all. Very economical. Yeah, and lovely, just lovely to drive. Let's do one more turning just so you can see the turn. I'm in a very tight little bit here, and we can just turn round in this junction so easily. Excellent. I've really enjoyed driving this car. So I have had a great time driving this 1971 Morris Mini Clubman estate. It's nice to be in a driver's car, but when they're getting older like this, they really are great. So if you want to see more videos on cars like this, then hit that subscribe button, and if you already subscribed, then why not become a member and have early access to these videos. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do that, and share with your friends. But I really appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed seeing this Morris Mini Clubman estate, and I will see you again very soon on the next episode of Beards and Bangers. Goodbye.